In order to find the surface area and the volume of figures, we have to understand what their name is and what they're called. Okay, so number 1, what is that figure called? It is a cone. Okay, kind of nice about circular figures, they all have their own name to them. Okay, what about number 2?
Rectangular prism.
Yes, let's walk through it. How do we name figures? Where do we get its name from?
The base.
The base shape, right? So if it helps, shade that base. So we get rectangular. And then you have to decide, is it a prism or is it a pyramid?
Prism.
It is a prism. What's the difference between a prism and a pyramid?
Prisms got like different sides and shapes.
Pyramids
Different
go
sides
up.
and lengths.
What's the one main difference?
Pyramids have a point.
Pyramids go to a point, okay? Prisms are kind of like a box shape. Okay, what about number 3?
Cylinder.
It is a cylinder.
Sphere.
Good. Remember, circular shapes have their own name to them. Number 4 is
Sphere.
a sphere. Okay.
Sphere.
Number 5, how do we get its name?
Triangular.
Triangular. Yep, go to the base. Base shape is a triangle.
Prism.
Triangular. And it is a prism. Yep. And then last one, number 6, what's its base shape?
Rectangle.
Square or rectangle, what's a better name for it?
Rectangular.
Yep, rectangular. And then is it a prism or a pyramid?
Rectangular pyramid.
Pyramid. What gives it away that it's a pyramid?
The point.
Yep. It all goes to that same point. Okay. Any questions about the names of those shapes? Okay. Numbers 7 through 10. Why do you think I put that on there?
To make us, so we can look back to them and not have to look up here.
Right. I put them on there so, 1, I know that you know what the formula is and you know, okay? And then you don't have to keep looking up at the board if you don't want to, okay? But I will be grading those questions. What do I call those questions?
Bonus.
I'm going to call them gimmies. Okay, why do I call them gimmies?
Because they're rectangle.
I give you the answer, okay? And those are a part of the grade, okay? So don't skip those, okay? I'm going to skip them right now, though, because we have them up here for now, okay?
Like I hit from
How
the
long did
tip.
you know I was
First, remember I had those 3 expectations. What was one of them?
Show your work.
Show your work is 1. What do you need to do before you even do the problem? Write the formula, and then the third part is label. Yep. First, in order to understand what formula you're going to use, you have to get what shape it is. What generic shape is number 11? It's a prism. Yep. So, go to the formulas. What formula are we going to use for surface area of a prism?
X equals 2 base plus.
Yep, 2b plus ph. So working left to right, finding all those variables. What does capital B stand for?
Area.
Area of the base. What is my base shape? Rectangle. Again, shade the base so that you can see it. Some of us skip that step, and then when you come ask me for help, I tell you to shade the base, and then you're like, oh yeah, and then you get it. Okay, so shade the base the first time. How do I find the area of a rectangle?
Base times height.
Base times height. What is the base and the height of this shape that I just shaded? It is 1 and 4. 1 times 4? 4. Moving to the right, capital P, it stands for perimeter of the base. How do I find the perimeter? Add up all the sides. What are all the sides?
1 plus 4 plus 1 plus
Yep. 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 4 is 10. And then last thing we need is the height. What's the height of the whole prism? 1. Why did you pick 1?
Because it's the 1 on the side.
What does it connect?
The top and the bottom.
The base.
It connects the 2 bases. Okay. Once you have all 3 of those, you're going to plug them in. So 2 times capital B we said was 4 plus 10 times 1. 2 times 4? 8. 10 times 1? 10. What's our final answer? 18. Don't forget what? Centimeters squared. Why is it squared?
Because it's not surface area. Oh, well, it's surface area, that's why.
It's squared because it is surface area. Okay. All right, go flip your page to number 13. Okay. First, you need to understand what shape it is so you can match it with the formula. What's its shape? It's a prism. Okay, so what formula am I going to use?
S equals 2B plus B.
Same one, right?
Yeah.
What is my base shape this time?
A triangle.
It is a triangle. So how do I find the area of a triangle?
Base times
XY divided by 2.
2.
Base times height divided by 2. With triangles, how do I find the base and the height? What do I look for?
The
Yep, look for the right angle. You want what is connected to the right angle. What sides are?
3 and 4.
3 and 4. So you take 3 times 4 divided by 2. 3 times 4?
12 divided by 2.
12 divided by 2 is 6. Okay, now we need to find capital P. How many sides do we have this time?
3.
3. What are the sides that I'm adding together?
3, 5, 4.
Yep, 3 plus 4 plus 5. Add those together, you get 12. Last thing we need is the height. What's the height? 1. Yep.
And then you have
Yep,
to
plug them all
multiply
in.
it.
So we have 2 times 6 plus 12 times 1. So we end up getting 12 plus 12, which is
24.
24. And what's my label?
Miles squared.
Okay. Questions on surface area of prisms. Okay, keep in mind the difference between a rectangular base and a triangular base. Number 14, what is the shape?
Rectangle or prism?
It is a pyramid. Why is it a pyramid?
Because
Comes to a point. What formula am I going to use for pyramid?
We're still on surface area.
S equals B plus P.
S equals
That
B
weird
plus
L
P
thing.
L divided by 2.
This is
Yep, so base shape we said was a rectangle. How do I find the area of a rectangle?
what?
base times height.
Base times height, which is
The right angle.
what?
4,
4 times 4, which is
16.
16. Capital P.
7,
4
3.
plus 4 plus 4.
Or 4 plus 4.
Yep. So we also get 16 for the perimeter. And then what does this cursive L stand for?
Slant. The 7.3.
Slant height, which is 7.3. You have all the values, you plug them in. So we have 16 plus 16 times 7.3
Divided by 2.
divided by 2. When you're solving this equation, what needs to happen first?
The 7.3 times 16. Because it's in parentheses.
This whole thing needs to happen first before you add 16. So you're going to multiply and then divide and then add. What should you get for your final answer?
I don't have the
That's, yep. So this part you get 58.4. What is your final answer?
74.2. Wait, 74.
It is 74.4 inches squared. So again, make sure you do that whole part first and then add your capital B. What is the shape?
Triangle. Pyramid.
It is a pyramid because
So it all goes up to the point.
it goes to a point. Good. So we're using that same formula we just used. How do I find the area of my triangular base?
Base times height divided by 2.
Base times height divided by 2. How do I find the base and the height?
The rectangle.
Yep, look for that right angle. It's a little trickier with pyramids. Okay, what sides are connected to that right angle on the base?
Just 7.
7 and Zedek, what'd you say? It is 6.1. Why is 8.3 not an option? Because that is the slant height. Yep. So we take 6.1 times 7 divided by 2. For that part, you should get 21.35. Okay. Capital P is next. What am I gonna add up for the perimeter?
All the sides of the base.
What are the sides?
7, 7, 7.
Yep, they're all 7. So I get 21. And then what is the slant height?
8.3.
8.3. So then plug it into the formula. 21.35 plus 21 times 8.3 divided by 2. Again, what part has to go first? Yep, the fraction. That whole fraction needs to happen first. What is our final answer?
108.5.
Yep, 108.5 feet squared. Any questions on the pyramid formula for surface area? Okay. Take your time, show your work, getting all of those different pieces. Okay. I want to look at 2 more on this one. What is the shape of number 16? It is a cone, so what formula am I going to use for a cone?
S equals pi r times pi, times r plus L.
So, with circular bases, what are the only 2 things we need to know to use the formulas? Radius and the height, yep. So what is the radius?
12 inches.
12, and then cursive L, our slant height is
26.8.
26.8. And then make sure you plug them into the correct spots. When solving these, what do you need to do first? Which parentheses?
The big one.
Yep, the addition one needs to go first. So we get pi times 12 times 38.8. And then what can you do in your calculator? Yep, you can multiply. What's your final answer?
I know how to write some from my calculator.
Yep, 1,462.7 inches squared. Okay, one more I want to look at. Number 18. What's 18 shape?
2.
Cylinder. So we're going to use 2 pi r times r plus h.
You have to divide 4.
What is the radius?
2.
Why is it 2 and not 4?
Because you have to split it in half.
Right, because this is the diameter. We need half of that. So that's why we get 2. And what's the height?
3.
3. So you plug it all in. Again, what has to go first?
Parentheses.
The addition.
No.
And then you multiply all those together to get
10, 20.
62.8 kilometers squared. Okay, that's going to be what your part 1 looks like tomorrow with surface area. Any questions on surface area while I'm here? Again, why do you think I put 19 through 23 on there?
So we have them.
So you have the formulas, yep. Again, like I said on part 2, it will have the name the figures again. Okay, so it'll look very similar, just the backside is going to be volume. Okay, so flip over to number 24. Again, start with what the shape is. What is the shape of 24? It is a prism. What formula am I going to use?
V equals B, base times height.
Capital B times H. You said the base shape was a rectangle. How do I find the area of that rectangle?
You have to add them all together.
Yep, what are the sides?
10.
6 times 10 is
60.
60. And then where's the height, or what is the height?
4, because it connects both of the bases together.
Yep. So what do I do with those 2 values? Multiply. 60 times 4?
240.
240 yards.
Cubed.
Yep. It's volume this time, so it's going to be cubed. Okay, 25 is very similar to that. Let's look at 26. What shape is 26?
Prism?
It is a prism, so are we using the same formula?
Yes.
Yes. This time, what's our shape?
Triangle.
Triangle. How do I find the area of a triangle?
Base times height. No, base times height divided.
There you go. Base times height divided by 2. To help me figure out what the base and the height are, what do I look for in a triangle?
8 times 6.
Divide.
How did you get those?
Because they're at the top and they're the same length as the bottom.
And they're connected to
The right angle.
the right angle. Yep. What's a little tricky is they don't have these labeled, but remember the one on the top matches. Okay, so this time we get 6 times 8
Divided by 2.
divided by 2. So we get 48 divided by 2 is 24. What is the height of the whole thing?
7.
It is 7. What do I do with those two values?
Times them.
Yep. 24 times 7 is,
408.
should get 168
Um,
feet cubed. Good. Any questions with the prism formula before I move on? All right, 27, what's its shape?
A rectangular pyramid.
Pyramid. So what formula am I going to use if it's a pyramid?
V equals base times height divided by 3.
Yep, capital B times H divided by 3. So, how do I find the area of the base?
9 times 9.
Yep, 9 times 9 is
81.
81. What's the height of the pyramid?
12.
Now you just plug those values in. 81 times 12 divided by 3. What has to happen first? Yep, the divided by 3 is going to come last for all of these volume ones. Okay? What's our final answer?
324 feet cubed.
Yep, 324 feet cubed. Couple more I want to look at. Let's look at number 28. What's the shape? It is a cone. So I'm going to follow the cone formula, which is pi r squared h divided by 3. Again, what's nice about circular base shapes?
All you have to find is the rate R and H.
Right, and they're both normally given to you, right? So what is the radius?
7.
7. The height is 14. So plug both those values in. 7 squared times 14 divided by 3. What needs to happen first before you plug all this in your calculator? What parentheses? The exponent has to happen first. Okay. Again, what is going to happen last? What's going to be the last thing you do? Divide by 3. Yep. What'd you guys get?
One.
718.4 feet cubed.
718.4 feet cubed. Okay. Let's look at number 30. What shape is it? Cylinder. Yep. So make sure you match it with the correct formula. So we have pi r squared h. Again, the only thing we need to know is the radius and the height. What's the radius?
8. 5.
5.
Okay.
Why is the radius not 7? Sometimes we flip them around. What's the difference between the two?
Because there's a
height
dotted
is
line
how
for the
tall
radius.
It is on the side, and the radius is half of the base.
The circle, right?
Yeah.
So you find the radius from the circle. Okay, so the radius is 5. The height is 7. Okay, so we get pi times 5 squared times 7. Again, what needs to happen first? Exponent. And then multiply them all together. Your final answer is what?
549.8 inches cubed.
Yep, inches cubed. Good. All right, I want to talk about one more, number 31. What is the shape of number 31?
Sphere.
It is a sphere. So we're going to follow the formula 4 pi r cubed divided by 3. What is the difference between this formula compared to all the other ones?
There's no height, and the radius goes all the way through.
There's no height. What else do you notice about the formula?
There's only one.
You divide it by
There's
3.
a radius.
It is divided by 3. There's a radius.
It's
What's
cubed.
happening to the radius?
Times by
It's
4.
cubed.
Times by
Cubed.
It's cubed, right? All the other ones were squared. Okay, this one happens to be cubed, so don't forget that. Okay. We need to find the radius. How can I find the radius?
Divided by 3.
Is it 9?
Half.
No, you've got to.
4.5
Right, it's half of this because it's the diameter, so it's 4.5.
times 4.5
Okay.
times 4.5.
Now, yep, when you plug it in, you're going to multiply it by itself 3 times. So that exponent has to happen first. When you do 4.5 times itself 3 times, you get 91.125 divided by 3.
Times 4.
Yep, what'd you guys get for your final answer?
381.7 yards cubed.
Yes, 381.7 yards cubed. Okay. Any questions over the formula ones or the volume ones? Any questions with those formulas? Okay. Again,
Study.
what are the 3? Yep, study. What are the 3 different expectations I have on each problem?
Show your work.
And label.
Right.
Correct
Label.
answer.
Show your work, label and correct answer. What's the big one, number 1?
Show your work.
Show which formula you're using.
Write which formula you're using, okay?